Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Good to be here.
This is the deep dive where we take, a whole stack of your sources, articles, research, our own notes, and really try to boil it down, extract the key knowledge to get you informed fast.
And our mission today is definitely cutting through some noise. We're looking at Oklo, that nuclear energy startup everyone seems to be talking about.
Right.
And the big question we're tackling for you is now actually a good time to buy Oklo stock? We've pulled together a pretty detailed analysis looking at everything from financials, market sentiment, future catalysts, the whole picture.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating one, isn't it? Because you've got this company with huge buzz, sky-high valuation, relatively speaking, and yet zero revenue. Currently reporting no revenue. We'll definitely dig into what that means for you as an investor.
Absolutely.
And before we get too far in, just a quick reminder, if you find this helpful, please think about subscribing, maybe give us a like, leave a comment. We genuinely love hearing from you.
Yeah, we do. And if there's a specific company you're curious about, one you want us to tackle next, just drop it in the comments below.
Definitely. And if you feel like supporting the show even more, you can always buy us a coffee. Links usually in the description.
Okay, let's get into it. Oklo.
So Oklo, generating all this buzz and clean energy. For listeners maybe just hearing the name or, starting to look into it, what's the basic idea? What is Oklo and sort of where do they fit in the energy landscape?
Right. So Oklo is right at the cutting edge, you could say, of the advanced nuclear power sector. Their main focus is on small modular reactors, SMRs.
Okay, these compact reactors.
Exactly. Think
Correct.
smaller factory-built units you assemble on site, much more scalable, potentially faster to build than the huge traditional plants. And crucially, they have proprietary nuclear recycling tech.
Recycling tech. So dealing with the waste issue.
That's a huge part of it. They're focused on fast reactors, which are, well, they're designed specifically to consume what we currently think of as nuclear waste.
Really use the waste as fuel.
Basically, yes. And they're designed to run for decades without needing refueling, so it tackles efficiency and the long-term waste storage problem, which is, a major hurdle for traditional nuclear.
Wow, okay. That sounds incredibly innovative. Almost futuristic.
It kind of is. The goal is clean, reliable, and fundamentally more sustainable nuclear power.
But here's the part that I think catches a lot of people. The sources clearly state, Oklo, right now, reports zero revenue and a net loss last year of what, nearly $60 million?
$59.4 million, yeah.
For a company valued in the billions? How do we square that? Big vision, sure, but no money coming in. Significant losses.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because that no revenue thing, it isn't automatically like a fatal flaw here. It's almost the defining feature of trying to pioneer something this ambitious, especially in nuclear.
How so?
Well, think about it. Getting a new nuclear reactor design from concept to actually generating power commercially isn't just a long road. It's a regulatory and engineering marathon that takes years, often decades, and billions of dollars.
Right. The hurdles must be immense.
Exactly. So every dollar right now is going into R&D, engineering, navigating regulations, not selling a product yet. It's about building the future infrastructure. Heavy spending, big burn rates, that's just part of the game at this stage.
So the value proposition isn't current earnings, it's entirely future potential based on their tech.
Pretty much. Their competitive edge is that proprietary technology, those fast reactors, the recycling. If, and it's a big if they successfully commercialize it, it could genuinely disrupt traditional energy. That's where the long-term growth story comes from.
Okay, so it's all about valuing that future potential. Yeah. Which brings us to the next point. How on earth do analysts even try to value Oklo right now? Traditional metrics, PE, PS, they're useless, right?
Completely useless at this stage. You can't calculate them meaningfully without earnings or sales.
So what are they using? Is it just finger in the air stuff?
Well, hopefully a bit more sophisticated than that. Analysts tend to lean on things like discounted cash flow models, DCF, but they're projecting revenues maybe 5, 10, even 20 years into the future. Highly speculative, obviously.
Yeah, lots of assumptions there.
Huge assumptions. Or they might look at comparable companies, maybe other development stage clean tech firms, sometimes even early stage biotech, given the regulatory pathways. It's definitely a mix of quantitative modeling based on potential market size, and yes, a significant qualitative judgment about the tech and the team.
And where do those judgments land? What are the price targets looking like?
It's interesting. The average 12-month price target from the analysts we looked at is hovering right around $60, $61.
Which is almost exactly where the stock is trading now, also around $61.
Exactly. Which is telling, isn't it? It suggests the market for now, agrees with the analyst's assessment of the current potential, maybe.
Or that the current price already reflects that near-term expected value.
Could be. Now, there's a range, of course. Some forecasts go as high as like $75, while others see it possibly dropping to around $30. That wide range really reflects the uncertainty we're talking about.
That makes sense. So the current valuation seems heavily weighted towards that future promise.
Let's pivot then to the stock itself. What has it actually done recently? Has this potential fueled any big moves?
Oh, absolutely. It's been on a tear, actually. Year to date, in 2025, the stock is up over 140%.
Wow, 140%. That's significant momentum.
Huge momentum. And if you look at the technicals, key moving averages support that. The 50-day simple moving average is down around $48.23, and the 200-day is way lower, around $30.99.
Both well below the current price, near $61.
Exactly. Clear indicator of a strong uptrend recently.
Okay, zooming in on the shorter term, what are we seeing in terms of support and resistance levels? And that RSI indicator, the relative strength index, is it showing the stock is overheated after that run or maybe consolidating? Good question. Immediate support looks to be around the recent lows, call it $59.24-ish. Resistance seems to be kicking in near $63, maybe a bit higher based on daily chart patterns.
And the RSI.
The 14-day RSI is sitting around 41.77, so not really overbought, not really oversold either. It suggests things have cooled off a bit, maybe leaning slightly neutral to even a touch bearish in the very immediate term after that big surge.
Okay. But what's really interesting, you mentioned it's beta.
Yeah, this is fascinating, despite having daily volatility of around, 8.39%, which is quite high.
Which you'd expect for this kind of stock.
Right, but its beta is only 0.58.
Meaning it's theoretically less volatile than the overall market.
Exactly, which is, well, counterintuitive for a pre-revenue tech startup in a field like nuclear energy.
So what could be driving that? Maybe long-term believers holding tight. Institutional money providing stability.
Could be a combination of those things. It suggests that perhaps the daily swings, while significant in percentage terms, aren't necessarily correlating strongly with broader market moves. Maybe investors are focused purely on the company-specific story here.
Interesting. So overall, technical picture seems bullish on the trend, but maybe needs to digest the recent gains, and with surprisingly moderate market relative volatility.
Like a good summary, yeah. Bullish trend, moderate volatility, maybe some short-term consolidation.
Okay, let's talk sentiment. Beyond the charts, what's the general feeling out there about Oklo? Any big names or, news hooks adding to the buzz or credibility? Sam Altman's name comes up a lot.
It certainly does. Having someone like OpenAI's Sam Altman as a major backer is, well, it's a huge credibility signal, no doubt about it.
Definitely gets attention.
Puts them on the map for a lot of tech and growth investors who might otherwise, steer clear of nuclear. But
There's always a but.
there's always a but. Does that create a halo effect? A risk that the enthusiasm generated by the big name backer outpaces the actual on-the-ground progress.
Yeah, that's a real risk. Separating the hype from the operational reality.
Absolutely critical for investors here. You need to look beyond the headlines. Now, analyst consensus is generally positive. Most of the 10 or 11 analysts covering it rate it a strong buy or buy.
Although, as we said, their average price targets suggest limited upside right now.
Precisely. So, strong belief in the long term, perhaps, but maybe caution about the current valuation. And broader sentiment indexes, they show some fear in the market overall right now, but the specific outlook on Oklo seems to remain pretty bullish among those who follow it closely.
Okay, so for you, the listener, trying to navigate this, what should you be watching for? Any key events, milestones, catalysts coming up that could really move the needle?
Definitely things to keep an eye on. First up, the next earnings report is scheduled for August 12th, 2025.
No, we don't expect revenue, obviously.
No revenue expected. But what investors will be looking for are updates on R&D progress. Any milestones related to their Aurora reactor design, news on the fuel recycling tech, hints about the regulatory pathway. How the market reacts to that news could be significant.
So progress reports are key.
Absolutely. Beyond earnings, any positive movement on the regulatory front would be huge. Getting key licenses from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the NRC, for example, or any new government incentives specifically aimed at advanced nuclear or clean energy that Oklo could benefit from. Those are potentially strong long-term catalysts.
And the technology itself.
Of course. Ultimately, tangible progress is what matters. Hitting product development milestones, eventually successful deployment and operation of their first commercial reactors. Those are the big long-term triggers everyone's waiting for.
Okay, Sounds like a lot of potential upside hinges on those future events. Let's flip the coin. Where's the risk? It can't all be smooth sailing, especially, as we keep saying, for a company with no revenue yet. It almost feels like a textbook high-risk startup profile on paper.
And you have to go in with eyes wide open to those risks. They're significant.
Mm-hmm.
Stock-specific risks, well, the obvious ones. The no revenue status means they're burning cash.
Right. How long does the current cash last? That's always a question.
Exactly. And there's that incredibly high dependence on successfully commercializing the technology and getting through all the regulatory hoops. That's a massive execution risk. Plus, just the risks inherent in trying to build a business in such a, well, nascent and complex industry.
And beyond Oklo itself, sector-wide risks.
Oh, yeah. Nuclear energy, even advanced nuclear, still faces complex regulatory challenges that vary by country, environmental concerns, even if the tech aims to mitigate them, and public perception issues. Any negative event in the nuclear industry anywhere in the world could potentially impact sentiment and regulation.
That's a good point. External factors matter. What about broader economic stuff?
Macro factors definitely play a role. Volatility in energy prices. If fossil fuels suddenly got very cheap again, would that dampen enthusiasm for alternatives?
Potential.
Interest rates are a big one, too. Higher rates make it more expensive to fund long-duration projects and can reduce investor appetite for speculative, growth-oriented tech stocks like Oklo.
And geopolitical risks. Supply chains.
Also relevant, especially for sourcing materials or deploying internationally down the line. So while the trading volume is high, over 20 million shares a day, which provides liquidity, and the beta suggests moderate market volatility.
You still need to brace for news-driven swings.
Absolutely. Given the early stage, the price can be very sensitive to specific news, positive or negative. Investor patience here isn't just recommended, it's pretty much required. It's a long game.
You need the patience of, well, someone waiting for nuclear fuel to decay.
Huh. Something like that, yes.
Okay, so we've covered the tech, the financials, or lack thereof, the stock actions, sentiment, catalysts, risks. Let's try to bring it all together. After this deep dive, what's the final assessment for our listener? Is Oklo a buy right now? What's the verdict?
Based on everything we've looked at, our analysis gives Oklo a rating of 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay, break that down.
Well, the company clearly has strong, maybe even transformative long-term potential. That innovative clean energy tech is compelling. The upside could be enormous.
Okay.
But it comes with equally significant execution and financial risks right now, simply due to being so early stage, pre-revenue, and needing to navigate that complex path to commercialization.
So for you listening, thinking about your own situation, investment horizon, risk tolerance, what does that 6 out of 10 actually mean? Who is this stock suitable for?
This is really more suitable for long-term investors, people who are genuinely investing for, say, 5, 10 years or more.
Okay.
You absolutely have to be willing to tolerate potentially high volatility along the way. You need the patience to wait for those commercialization milestones, which, realistically, could still be several years out. You're buying the vision, the potential, not the current reality.
And for short-term traders?
For shorter-term trading, it's trickier. Yes, there's volatility, which traders sometimes like. But as we discussed, the average analyst price targets aren't suggesting a huge immediate upside from the current $60, $61 level.
Right. The risk-reward might not be as compelling in the short term?
Exactly. Seems like a tighter trade right now based on those consensus targets near $63 or so.
Okay, so primarily for the patient, long-term believer. If someone falls into that category and is considering maybe starting a position, are there any price levels or strategies they should keep in mind, maybe to manage that risk a bit?
Based on the technicals we talked about, aiming for an entry price maybe in the $58 to $60 range could offer a slightly better risk-reward balance, aligning with recent support levels and just below where analysts see it on average.
Kind of waiting for a small pullback.
Potentially, yes. Or dollar cost averaging it over time. For anyone thinking shorter-term or even long-term investors wanting some risk management, setting a stop loss, maybe around $55, could help protect capital if that recent technical support level breaks down.
And on the upside, take profit targets.
If you are trading it short-term, taking profits near that $63, $65 resistance area, which also aligns with some of the higher analyst targets, might make sense. But really, the bottom line is Oklo is a fascinating, high-potential, but definitely speculative clean energy play.
Okay.
Given its early stage, lack of profits, it really feels most appropriate right now for long-term portfolios that can handle the risk and the weight.
So it's a bet on the future of advanced nuclear, a bet on their specific technology, and it requires that long view and a stomach for the bumps along the road.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. As we wrap up this deep dive on Oklo, here's something to think about. Given Oklo's truly innovative approach, using waste, long-life reactors, and that global push for cleaner energy, how might just one major breakthrough, maybe a faster-than-expected regulatory green light or a sudden technological leap they announce, fundamentally shift its trajectory and its valuation in ways that maybe these current metrics and near-term targets just can't capture right now? Something to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
We really hope this deep dive gave you some valuable insights into Oklo. If you found it useful, again, please consider subscribing, liking, maybe leaving a comment. We do read them all.
And let us know if there's another company you want us to put under the microscope.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can buy us a coffee if you're feeling generous. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
We'll be back soon with another one.